Welcome to Sales Babble, the podcast that shares selling secrets for non-sellers. And now your host, Pat Helmers.
Hello, Sales Babblers. This is Pat Helmers. And today I'd like to set aside today's episode and speak about the passing of someone who has deeply influenced me. On January 22nd, Thich Nhat Hanh, the Vietnamese Zen Buddhist monk and peace activist, passed away in Hue Vietnam. He was 95 years old. Thich Nhat Hanh, or Tay, as his students call him, Tay, which means teacher, has been one of the most influential spiritual leaders of our time. He's the author of over 100 books regarding mindfulness, spirituality, interbeing, and awareness. He's the main inspiration for the engaged Buddhism, which seeks to apply the Buddhist ethics on contemporary situations of social, political, environmental, and economic suffering and injustice. I first started reading Thich Nhat Hanh's books late in the 90s and found inspiration in my work, and yes, when selling. In 2013, Oprah Winfrey interviewed Ty, and one insight he shared applies directly to sales. I've shared this before that I see selling as a helping profession. As sellers, it is our responsibility to relieve the suffering of our customers. Each prospect you meet has some unfulfilled need or desire that greatly pains them and their organizations. The way master sellers can assuage this suffering is to listen. Only after listening can we know if we can help. In the interview, Thich Nhat Hanh said this, quote, "Deep listening is the kind of listening that can help relieve the suffering of another person. You can call it compassionate listening. You listen with only one purpose, to help him or her to empty his heart. Even if he says things that are full of wrong perceptions, full of bitterness, you are still capable of continuing to listen with compassion. Because you know that listening like that, you give that person a chance to suffer less. If you want to help him to correct his perception, you wait for another time. For now, you don't interrupt. You don't argue. If you do, he loses his chance. You just listened with compassion and help him to suffer less. 1 hour like that can bring transformation and healing." I'm certain this isn't the first time that you heard that listening is important. Management will give lip service to good listening, but more often than not, they invest more energy into accelerating the script and driving you to close. Sadly, too often, listening is seen as a soft skill. Soft implies it's lesser than, something minor, less important than computer literacy, scientific understanding, academic proficiency, mathematical prowess, or analytical skills. All of these are important. They are vital and worthy skills to possess. Compassionate listening is deeply underrated as a skill. Yet we would say that listening is the most important skill we need to have. The hard sciences previously mentioned would not have been learned from talking, but through listening. Listening needs to be at the top of the list of skills to master and model if we want to have more authentic relationships and more impactful connections. Listening is at the core of successful relationships and cannot be shortchanged if we want our relationships, professional and personal, to be meaningful and satisfying. Listening well with intention, being actively present with one another, suspending judgments, dispensing with platitudes or pitching products, and respecting the inherent human worth of those whom we listen to is hard work. Listening's not easy. If so, everyone would be doing it. This lack of listening and discovering commonalities is the fundamental root of the breakdown of our society when it comes to political discussion. Listening only goes so far to see if the other person is on our team or not. But we can be better, and we need to be better. Beyond listening, there's the struggle of call reluctance and the opportunity for rejection. Thich Nhat Hanh once said, quote, "Fear keeps us focused on the past or worried about the future." If we can acknowledge our fear, we can realize that right now we are okay. Right now, today, we are still alive, and our bodies are working marvelously. Our eyes can still see the beautiful sky, and our ears can still hear the voices of our loved ones. He taught me to relax. He taught me to let go and to accept the world as it is. In 2013, Thich Nhat Hanh spoke at Google's headquarters in Silicon Valley, and he brought his message of quiet contemplation to the forefront of the high-energy digital age. He said, "We have the feeling that we are overwhelmed by information. We don't need that much information. Do not try to find the solution with your thinking mind. Non-thinking is the secret of success. And that is why the time when we are not working, that time can be very productive if we know how to focus on the moment." For links to Thich Nhat Hanh, you can find them in the show notes at www.salesbabble.com. Next week, we'll return to the Tao Te Ching of sales. And until then, take care of yourselves. Take care of those you love. Peace.
Thank you for listening to the Sales Babble podcast. Find us at www.salesbabble.com.
This is a production of Habanero Media.